beats are the purest. Prove it.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 12 of the Smelly GOON1Es podcast. I think it's been a while. I think it's been a couple of months since last season ended, so I'm glad to have all you guys back. So let's just jump right into it. Like, season 7, how are you guys feeling so far?
Feeling pretty good. You know, I got the best draft going on here, for sure.
Yeah, bro drafting from Disney World.
Dude, that's gotta be the best thing ever.
Let's go.
I had
So-
so fun with going on roller coaster rides. War and Fire helping me a lot for my draft.
Of course.
Anyway, is my audio good?
Yeah, audio sounds good.
I turned everyone up, but apparently it's still quiet. I'll turn you up more.
No way, what the heck?
But yeah, so we got to clear the air, Neptune. How does it feel to have your Pookie sniped from you?
I accepted that a long time ago, to be honest.
Knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. So, I mean, like, I had a lot of time to prepare and shift my plans. And I just kind of knew I want to take Paninii and Charlie with me and just kind of build around them. So it was really easy, but it kind of sucks that, like, this was, like, that season. Or it was supposed to be. Our name's after It Takes Two. There's this, like, character in there called the Moon Baboon, actually.
Oh. Damn, that would have been so cute. Unfortunately,
I know.
I had to
He
yoink
would have
him.
been my first husband. He would have
Yeah.
been my first husband if I had actually got him, but he's like 70th or something now.
I mean, like, speaking of how the draft went, what do you think about your draft?
I mean, honestly, I had like 2 or 3 bits planned, like, going in, and I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna draft, like, a bunch of rookies, you know? Why not?
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up doing, and I'm happy with that, you know? Because I feel like everybody says, like, whoever wins the season is, like, the person who, like, does the best scouting, finds the best rookie, and wins with them, right? So I can't lose if I just, like, get 3 rookies on my team, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
Spike. I'm really high on Spike. Oh, I found out why the audio is so low. Okay, so let me know. That might be way too loud, but yeah. Turn the webcam mic back on. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Spike, I think, is gonna be really good. It sounds like he's a really big calmer. It sounds like he really likes playing the game. I know he's been playing a lot of Hazard. I guess I'll turn that back down. Okay, cool. But yeah, he's been playing a lot of Hazard, so I think this meta might be really good for him. Void Fiber also, like I don't know a whole lot about Void Fiber, but like he's 3750, so he's one of the higher DPS in the draft class. So, why is everyone quiet? What?
I mean, I did my research on like every single one of these people, and whether that be like watching VODs or like communicating with people who like invited them to the league, and like, you know, I feel confident in every single rookie I have on my team, and I feel confident in Skyster and Silverchalls as well too. So we're just balling.
I have turned them up the loudest they can. It looks like they are now peaking on my screen, so I turned everyone up, and now everyone's saying it's too loud.
Okay, apparently I'm too loud. I don't know.
Yeah, probably, but my draft I think went about as well as I could expect. I didn't know if Fancy was gonna fall. I thought maybe Ruben or Flambeau were gonna take Fancy, but got my boy back from the tardigrades. I got Riddle. He lasted longer than he did on the Corsairs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Quiet. There we go. Let's turn War down. I think that should fix it.
What the heck?
We're gonna steal him this time.
There we go. But yeah, I got a lot of players that I really wanted. Wiggle Higgle, finally get to play with him. I'm so excited. I've heard legends about this guy. But yeah, I'm really happy with how my draft went too. Other teams that you thought kind of stood out for you coming from the draft, or do you have any comments, I guess, on the power rankings team? Because I guess the PR team kind of gave their opinions.
Yeah, the PR team, gave their top 5, and honestly, I think it's a fine top 5. I think it's an okay top 5. I will say, I would probably choose a different top 5 if I was given the opportunity to.
Who's your top 5? Just spit it out.
Just spit it out right now. Wait, hang on. Get back to me in like 1 business minute, okay?
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to choose my team because that's crazy.
Yeah, of course. Any other teams that kind of stood out for you guys?
I like the Silly Geese. It seems like the PR team made a lot more research into their comps, but just kind of seemed like an Akua Cray just feels disgusting.
I'm trying to pull up the actual thing so I could see all of them next to each other. Be Season 7 public sheet. There we go. I know one that stood out to me was BBQ's team. Like he traded had a couple of trades there, I think. So we got Melon and Foost, like reuniting them. Bunny, I think, used to be a GM back in the day. So Bunny, I think, is also going to be a pretty good pick for that value. Nesquix in the last round is crazy that Nesquix fell that far. I think that could be a really good team. I personally, I think people might be sleeping on it. I think Jack's team also could be pretty good, especially after that Razmataz trade. Wind coming off his MVP season. Like, I think that could be a sleeper team. PR team didn't have him in top 5, but I think they definitely could be climbing up there. Do you have your top 5 yet, War?
I need like 2 more business minutes or 1 more business minute. I have my top 3.
What about you?
We're working 5.
I think I said it right after the draft, but I feel like the isopods are like up there for me right now. I mean, they have AST, Yak, Flambeau again, which is like 3 people from the team who won last season. Just like the Swedish Fish have Fish, Transflect, and Frosty as well, but yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Where the heck is this freaking team?
I think
I think I'm getting lost. There it is. Okay.
They're both, I think, pretty good teams. I think it is
Rusty Goomba too. Yak's 3rd round is crazy.
Yeah.
And they got Krill last as well, which on the sheet said that they're a Lucio specialist as well, but and a hero preferences they put other heroes as well. So it's to be determined what they're going to play, but Yak 3rd round is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially since Flambeau got ASC 1st and Rusty 2nd. So I can see them doing really well. It depends what type of comp they want to run, because if they really want, and if the world is ending, AST can go on tank, and they have a comp that's legal.
Yeah.
I mean, the comp that AST's on tank is like disgusting also. It's legal and it's also like really, really good, I think.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to play a whole lot of tank anyways. So.
All right. I got top 5 here. So in no particular order, and technically top 6 because, you know, I'm not mentioning my team, but, you know, the Baja's number 1. I got the Keller Hall Basement Dwellers, BBQ's team, the Iced Out Isopods, Flambeau's team, the Ishikawa Izanagi, I don't even know, like, what Pokemon guy was cooking with that name, but his team, Hatsune Freakus, Poise team, and the Luxembourg Land Sharks, Jack's team.
I think
there's definitely no bias there.
Surely.
No, there is definitely no bias there. I just think those are the best teams.
Definitely not.
Definitely not like all my Pokemon. Okay, like hang on. If I was biased, I'd be putting Neptune and Panini up there too.
Oh,
Would I not
You
be?
hate me, bro. You hate me, bro.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Would I not be? Would I not be putting you guys up if
You don't
I
need to
was
go
like?
full bore. You can go halfsies.
I mean,
You know, it's not all or nothing.
I'm just going full realism in my opinion, and that's what I'm seeing right now.
I think Pokemon Guy has a really interesting comp, and I'm really curious to how it's gonna pan out. A lot of teams have their like SR distribution differently. Like you have teams like Sonic's team, which is like completely flat across the board. But most teams have like a high masters or a GM, and then they have other like syncs throughout. Pokemon Guy is really interesting because he's like pretty much the only sync on his team. Everyone else is 3,400 or above. They are also really interesting because they have a lot of their SR on support, and you see a lot of the other teams will put it on either DPS or tank. So I am really curious to see how that is going to pan out. But they got the trio from the apes of Pokemon Guy, Mardox, Tommy Slat. So there's definitely going to be some good synergy, some good comms there. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see like which of these team builds end up being different because a lot of them have pretty distinct like differences between their the way they built their teams. One thing I did notice earlier too is I'm also really curious to see how the Hatsune Frikos perform compared to the Swagasaurus, because like if you look at them side by side, it's like pretty much across the board their roles are like almost the exact same SR. Is you have Poi for Fancy, you have Pneumonia and Wordy, who are both mid diamond for Riddle and Dong, and then you have Wiggle Higgle and Fire for Bucket and Tuki Pook. So it's like the exact same SRs like kind of across the board, so that's going to be really interesting. Fancy says if War was biased, he would put me last because he hates me. I think that's true. I think that's why you don't have the Swagasaurus top 5.
That's so real, actually.
Any other teams you guys want to kind of like talk about a little bit? Things you're looking forward to, players you're looking forward to even?
I'm honestly, okay, like, crazy shouts. I'm just going to give a couple. I, like, when I saw Ari go on tank in the first round, I was like, is this like a misclick? Is this like a mistake? But like, that's the comp, that's the lineup, and I'm really excited to see Ari on tank, because from what I've heard about Ari as a player, that's somebody who is a very adamant shot caller, at least previously on the Sea Dragons, and then gets a couple Sea Dragons players with them on their new team, but is on the tank role, a role that I think, I don't know, like, support you can be a really good shot caller on, but like if you're on tank, I think you can like really command your team on that role more so.
I'm also really curious what they end up doing with their backline, because they do have I actually played in a scrim against them, and I know they were running Sonic Ronic Paradox on support, but they could also run Voyager and Paradox on support. So I'm really curious which of those looks they're going to go for. I know Sonic Ronic kind of on support at least is known for more main support than flex support, and Paradox is pretty much exclusively main support. So I'm not sure Voyager's hero pool, but I was going into the season, I was kind of thinking about Sonic Ronic and Paradox both playing main support. I was like, I don't know who's going to end up flexing, who's going to play the flex support. So Voyager, I'm not sure. I didn't see anything at all from Voyager support, so they might also switch that up too. So that entire team, I'm very curious about. Fatal also, you have that rookie, I believe, hit Ascendant on Valorant, which is all I know about him. So it probably has those mechanics there. So I could see that team like coming out of nowhere and surprising people like Sonic Ronic teams tend to do. It's just definitely gonna be a very interesting team throughout the season. Let's see. Who else haven't we talked about? Let's talk about Corey's team. A lot of vets, basically the Overwatch team 2.0. I know they have a lot of different comps they can end up running. Sky off of the Grand Finals MVP. What are you guys kind of looking for with the Cody's?
So I will say, I'm gonna talk about an analogy, right? And this is like only works for the people who played in like a fantasy football league. But Booney's team in like one of the fantasy football leagues I was in was like the Run It Back. I don't even remember the exact name. It was like the Run It Back team. It was the team where it was like all the people who like you thought were washed and then they weren't washed, you know?
Yeah.
And they ended up getting one last ride. Yeah, there it is, right? And that team ended up doing very well. So for the Colombian Codis, I just need all these players to prove they're not washed, you know? And I'm not saying any of them are washed, but like they're boomers, right? Like I feel like they're all boomers. So like prove you still got
Sky.
it. Okay,
you got
like
Sky.
you got Sky, but like everybody else.
It feels like what was I gonna say? The Fisherman 2.0, where Corey just drafts all of his unks.
Yeah.
It's like you had like Invictus, Sint, Booney, Corey on that team, and now it's like you have Booney, Corey, Whale, Nuttier. I guess would EJ be an Unk?
I think
know
this
he's
I think
been
this
in the
I
league
think
for
this is a
while,
more
but-
Unk build in
See,
my
he's
opinion.
from
yeah.
season 5 of Go for Watch,
Yeah.
as
That's
well.
an Unk,
Same as War. It's the same as
Yeah.
War. So
Okay.
I guess. War's an
Wait,
Unk too.
am I Unk status?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
That's crazy. I
So-
feel like we're getting to the point where like Go for Watch is the cutoff for Unk or not Unk.
Yeah. What about the Blasters? I know everyone's saying the Blasters have the best team name. I'm really curious. Another thing I was going to bring up is a lot of the rookies come from Nyanza. You have Big Brain, Snowspot, Nesquix, and I think there's another one. There's a lot of people that Nyanza knew, so I'm really curious how they're going to end up doing. I haven't really heard a whole lot about them, but I know Nyanza's that like CAH. I think now she's on a Iliad team in OWCS, so we know how talented Nyanza is, surrounding her with kind of known commodities in Yoda and Milo. I think that also, like, could be a pretty good team.
Is this like the highest they're probably gonna get their comp at though?
Probably. I mean, that
Oh.
coleslaw. So I remember last season at least there was problems with Yoda's availability on the Kappa
Yeah.
as well. So I would be worried about that. Like not as much early season, but especially like middle and late season.
Yeah.
Then I could see that maybe being an issue. Maybe it's different. I don't know. But Ruben looked good on the Zillas last season. Like Voyager, they seem like they're a lot better than their SR.
Yeah.
As well. Nyanza Quinn, we all know her from Aardvarks, Australian Aardvarks maybe. Very, very good player. And then Mommy Issues on Coleslaw is the two rookies that are coming in for the team. So I think it also depends on them. Because I know Coleslaw is willing to grind out and play a lot. At least from what I've heard from them. So
I'm gonna be straight up. I'm so worried about the comm structure on this team. I don't know who's like taking the lead on comms. And like going in, I was like really high on Mommy Issues and Coleslaw as rookies. Like those are people like if they fell to me in the last round, I'd be happy. You know, they didn't fall to me in the last round. Like people did their research. They know ball, right? But like who like I don't know like who will coach them up and communicate them up to like the status that you need to be competitive on this team, and that's my big question.
I have to beat Milo. I mean, I don't know how much Nyanza talks. At least, like I rung on DPS for Nyanza one like a map or two as well. So, and I didn't see much of their comms other than
It seems like
that, really, I guess. But
fight an uphill battle for sure.
I do think Milo is kind of like he can really step up in a lot of those opportunities, especially if it's not there. Because I know Milo really wants to win. He wants to get better at the game. I could see him definitely leading that team in that perspective. But yeah, like Yoda, I think is like I said earlier, he's like a pretty good tank player for his SR, especially. Fell kind of later, so I think that could be a really good pickup, especially with the there's kind of a lack of higher SR tanks. So I think Yoda definitely could kind of fill that gap for their team. But yeah, I'm really interested in that, especially the Nyanza DPS. Also, another one of the Aardvarks, as we were mentioning earlier, is Missin, shocking no one going to Paige's team. So South Korea Kittens 2, are they going to be better than South Korea Kittens 1?
Surely.
Is it crazy to say yes and say that that's because the bar is like not that far?
Yeah.
I mean, I think considering how the season went for the SR cap, everyone just has to like fit into that like restriction. And when I'm like looking at the teams, obviously I don't know too much. I'm looking at them now. I think Baja is just like really scary, but I think everyone else has like pretty good SR cap near it for comps.
Yeah. I think with
yeah, the only other one is like Geese,
effort.
which sort of struggle with it.
I think the Kittens
Even
are kind
then
of
they have one at 3440 now, but yeah, it's like off rolls.
Yeah, like, and that's another thing too, is like I know if you make players off roll, you can have certain players like, I mean, Killjoy is kind of a prime example. Is you have Killjoy 3950 on support, but 3100 on tank. If you start off rolling some of those players, I think they could play a lot like well above their SR, because you have like so much game knowledge carrying into it, and I think you could definitely perform above your SR. But yeah, like I was gonna talk about Paige's team with the not only in terms of meeting that SR cap, but you have I'm a little worried about how many players they have role locked. They have Paige is locked to support, Missin is locked to DPS, and then Onshore Rook locked to tank. It's really tough to kind of make those lineups when you have people locked to those specific roles. I do think they're coming out of it. I was kind of a little curious about what comps they were gonna run, but it looks like I think they do actually have one now that's pretty good with like Topaz on support. I know Topaz signed up for DPS, but Nort tank, Chloe Goku DPS, and then Paige Topaz support. I think that actually could be pretty decent. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like when Onshore Rook comes in. I think they might just put an Onshore Rook 1-for-1 with Nort. But I mean, I don't think that team is going to be that bad. I think they're going to be. I think they should be able to be somewhat competitive. I guess we'll see what throughout the season. But like we don't all know Chloe, the kind of player that Chloe is. The vibes on that team should be really good. So I don't know if anyone's really going to be getting burnt out or tilted. But yeah, let's see. I don't think we've really talked about Neptune's team that much. I think one thing that we haven't really talked about that I know I've heard other people talking about outside of the podcast, but I want to bring it up here, is a lot of people looking at the Baboons. They're like, you know, okay, we don't know like Odin, how he's gonna do on tank. Like we'll see how like some of these pan out. I don't know how close you guys are to the SR cap on your main comps, but everyone is being like, oh yeah, Neptune, he's such a big leader. He's gonna be able to grind those players, like get them practicing, get that team synergy. So they definitely throughout the season, I could see them getting a lot better as the season goes on. Regardless of where they're starting, I could definitely see a lot of those players getting better. I know a lot of like Charbotron, Sanami, probably even Strudel too. I could see them all like really locking in and trying to do VOD reviews and stuff like that to get better throughout the season.
And even though everyone's kind of like starting like at this like kind of lowish midish point, I really do like the idea of just what comps we can run. It's just really a matter of fact how Odin's gonna look like, you know, like getting him situated, you know, like looking at his notes, he's just really like seems like a grinder. He wants to kick some of his collegiate friends' butts, you know, so that's gonna be that goal. Let's hope we can get it, right?
We got a lot of stout players, and I know there's like a certain camaraderie, but there's also a certain amount of like not necessarily vengeance. They're trying to like get back at their former teammates, so I think that's gonna be really fun to see some of those matchups. I haven't really looked that much at the schedule throughout the season, but I'm sure we're gonna have some where it's like you know, Wordy versus Odin. I believe those are both on stout players, so like seeing how much they get into those specific like 1v1s there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about Neptune's team is it's one of the only teams which, like, I mean, he does fill this role himself, but it's one of the only teams where it has 3 players over that like 3.7 KSR. So it's like when you start getting into the carry range of people, like the hard carry range of people, there's only a couple of the teams that like have that same build, because only a couple of the teams can have that same build. And even when you're looking at some of the other teams that have that same build, like you talk about like, oh, it's for example, the Smelly and Silly Geese, it's Killjoy and it's Cray and it's Akua, but Akua is the only one who's actually slotted in on their main role at that SR. Neptune's team, on the other hand, has the ability to play 3 GMs every single time that he wants to. Like there's no SR cap, or not 3 GMs, 3 people over 3.7, which I think is really good.
Another team that's like that is the Blowhighs.
Of course. I mean, I hope you mean the Blahas.
Nope. It's
No.
I think the reason that works is because you have a hard SR sync that's like 2,500, and then you have a soft SR sync that's 3K. So the Blowhighs have Skycer on DPS, which is 3,150, and they have Biggie Stretch / War, who's about 2,300, and then Odin and Charbotron on the Baboons. So I think if you don't have that specific thing planned out, you're not going to be able to run that comp. I think also, no, I guess the Kotais aren't high enough to be able to run that either, but that's kind of the same idea with them, is they put Quarry on support, Sky on DPS, and then EJ on DPS, or Sky, EJ on DPS, and then Quarry on support.
I'm not here to glaze too much, but Ward not top 5? That's definitely like.
Yeah, I think that's because they're rookies.
No, it's 100% because of rookies. Like, There's 3 people you don't know there. Like, how are you gonna put that top 5? You know?
Oh, I know Spike.
You know Spike?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is Spike your boy for real?
I mean, like, he's chill, bro. But, like, I haven't, like,
Okay,
had
okay.
any interactions, but no, that team's going to do really well. They're at the cap. They have Silver Tall, Spike. I feel like definitely is going to overperform that SR. So, we're definitely going to see a Blaha season, I think, for me.
Yeah, I could see them being good. I think I had them in my top 5, my own personal top 5. But yeah, I mean, like, I think I've heard a couple of times. I think I heard it on the podcast too. Is I don't think there's really any team that's like really standing that far out above the pack. I think there's a lot of like top half teams, and then there's some that are maybe a little bit closer to the bottom half. But I think even then the line is a lot closer. I think it's really similar to last season. I think last season, kind of across the board, we had teams that weren't like, at least coming out of the draft, we didn't really have any teams that looked bad. We didn't have any teams that looked like crazy good. And I think that's just gonna be a sign that the Flambeau says Friku's on top. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a sign the season's gonna be really competitive. Like I said earlier, I think the Friku's could be good. I think the Swagasaurus could be really good. They're built the same way. I am really curious because the Friku's do have 3 actually rookies. So Wordy, Bucket, Big Brain. We'll see how they do. I've heard that Flambeau is very, very high on Big Brain. That's another one of Nyanza's friends that I don't really know a whole lot about. So I guess we'll see going into the season if Flambeau has done his research and thinks that Big Brain is good. The Friku's could come out strong early. Just looking at the first couple weeks here, let me see if there's anything that stands out specifically. I know the Friku's looks like week 1 are playing the Moon Baboons. I believe that's gonna, at least as of now, that is the first game of the season.
Yeah,
I know we don't have
for the 29th. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we don't have the schedule officially out yet because we're still like a week away, so teams are still making their scheduling and window meets and everything like that. I think that's gonna be a really. Like,
the schedule's out.
Yeah.
But the games aren't scheduled.
Yeah.
Most of them, at least. So.
I think the Friku's versus the Baboons is going to be really interesting because those are 2 teams that I really would like to see more information on. There's a lot of rookies like Odin, as I said earlier, Wordy, Bucket, Big Brain. I'm excited to see a lot of them from that game. And then also another one that I'm going to be really excited for is TC versus War in the first round. The Izanagi versus the Blowhighs. That's a lot of rookies there.
Well, if I understand it correctly, the first round is literally just who's your SR pairing. You're paired up against them.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? Okay.
No, you're not
Cool.
wrong.
You're definitely right.
It's like 1v2, 3v4, 5v6, stuff like that.
That makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna be really curious about that War TC one. It's gonna be really exciting. And then just looking at the next week, we have the Swagasaurus squad versus TC's team too. So looks like a lot of personal beef going into this scheduling here.
Yeah, and I'll say it to him right now. I'll say it to his face. Like, his teams all got experience with each other. You know, they've all played together. So if he chokes, that's on him. You know, like he should. I'm predicting them to win 3-0. Me personally. So like, they should have no pressure.
Over you?
They should go in. Yeah,
Over
us.
you?
Yeah, they should go in. They should go in like super chill, super relaxed, super like, you know, no need to try hard, and they just get a 3-0. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see. But yeah, like, just, I mean, looking at a couple of these, let's see what else I want to shout out. I'm looking for Sonic Ronic, see who he plays. Sonic Ronic plays Neptune in the second round, and he plays Jack in the first round. I want to see Sonic Ronic versus Melon. Yeah, I don't know if Sonic Ronic versus Melon, Sonic Ronic versus Silver Talls, bringing back the
it happens at some point, I
Sea
think.
Dragons. Yeah, I'm
Hold
sure
on,
it
let's
does.
see.
Let me also look at week 8, see some like season finishers that I'm excited about.
You're not.
I'm not seeing it.
Isopods versus Fish week 8. That's gonna be a banger.
I would just
6 of the 7 what are they called? The Slouchers in the same game is gonna be exciting.
I'm seeing Sonic versus Saikana, at least, but
yeah. What else? Saikana versus Sonic Ronic last week. Anything else standing out to me? We have... No, I'm trying to think of like any personal beef. The big one is that Isopods versus Fish last week of the season between those Slouchers. I'm
It's
really
much
curious to
off.
see how that goes because like I think even though I think the DPS are from the isopods are the same as the slouchers, the fish still got like pretty similar DPS. They got Shoreline Pyotanic B instead of AST and Yak. So I think even not only do they have the same kind of core, but they also have like the same kind of SR distribution between the teams. Is Flambeau got Rusty Goomba instead of Fish, and then he got Snowspot and himself instead of Frosty and Transflect in I guess himself. So, oh yeah, week 8 of the season. I didn't realize that is going to be Firestar Boss versus Neptune. So that's going to be another exciting one.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep 2, 3, technically 3. Dinosaurs here.
Yeah, who are your like sleeper picks of the season? Like which players you think are going to just come out of nowhere and pop off?
Does it have to be like a rookie or?
I mean, anyone that you think is like going to perform above their SR, I guess.
Spike, I already said it.
Spike,
that one.
Yeah.
I've been hearing lots of great things about Wordy. I want to be surprised.
I'm gonna call it right now. I'm gonna. What's the thing that guy says before he shoots the trick shots?
What?
I understand it now.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I understand now.
I'm gonna call my shot. And I'm gonna say Coleslaw is gonna pop off this season. You heard it here first. 3K. I've heard his Junkrat's nasty. We'll see how he fits.
What about the other characters?
Junkrat's
is it just
Well, if you're good enough,
if
you're good enough, you don't need anything else. You see people like Aquamarine and stuff at least.
Yeah. I could see Coleslaw like popping the double conks to kill a Pharah. I bet that's gonna happen this season.
Right against me, right?
Probably. Yeah.
EJ, get ready to clip it. The pocketed Pharah Neptune falls to Coleslaw.
I'm also like Name and Wood Fiber probably getting up there for sure.
EJ DPS is another one that I think like I know EJ and Topaz both kind of signed up as like gold DPS players that we haven't really seen a whole lot of their DPS, but EJ is probably going to be playing most of the time on DPS. I don't know if Topaz is going to be able to play DPS on his team, but I could see EJ DPS like I think he could definitely surprise people. I mean, like I said earlier too, it's like if your master's on another role and then you're swapping over, it's like I don't think he's going to play at a gold level. I think he's at least going to be like plat or low diamond on DPS. So I could see EJ definitely surprising people. I don't know. There's so many people that I just don't know about. So like Odin is another one. Like I've no idea anything about Odin. So it's like if he comes out and is the next Wind, like that could be something. But
I don't think there's gonna be a next Wind, right? I think that's impossible unless you're like going from console to PC, making that leap, and like just like Wind has great mechanics, right? Like have you ever seen him like ranked? It's just not surprising why he climbed to the rank he's at,
Yeah.
But no, I'm really excited to play with Odin. I really feel like his hero pool is going to mesh well with the team I want, and he seems like great energy, and I'm really excited for my scrims tomorrow.
War, I know before the podcast you said you wanted to roast the power rankings team. What was it you were going to say?
I mean, no, I can't roast them. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. I think they don't do any research on rookies and they doubt them. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like that happens every season. I feel like you can't do like a comprehensive power ranking of everything if you don't like put in the extra step, research every single rookie and say, yeah, this person knows ball, this person like doesn't know ball. And I'm not saying that everybody on the podcast and on the power rankings team does that, because I know some people on the power rankings team. I don't know everybody on the power rankings team, right? But like, I think there should be a little bit more effort into like the knowing what rookies are gonna play what, how they're gonna play, how they're gonna communicate, which I think you can get off of like a small little dive plus like looking at I don't know if you're given access to the captain sheet, but somebody's got to like let them know like, hey, this is what people play on the captain sheet. This is how it's gonna pan in.
Yeah, but everything that they put. But everything they also put on the captain sheet just isn't accurate. Like, I've seen people on the communication just completely flat out lie. Like, oh my god, it could not be more wrong. I'm not going to shout out anyone. But there's some that are, like, super, super high, where I'd consider it like a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, some people where it's like, oh, you think this person is the same as, like, Neptune. Right. I play a team with Neptune. I definitely know that's gonna be.
But for rookies, like, you assess based off of that, and also what you know about the person. But you assess based off of that for rookies. Like me, if I was like, I don't know, if I saw somebody like, I don't know, I don't want to call people out. Oh, I'll call somebody out. I'll call out Jack, right? If I saw Jack put 10 on communication, I'd be like, that guy's straight capping, you know? That guy's not 10 on communication. That guy's like flat like 5 or 6 on communication. He doesn't want to talk too much. He doesn't want to talk too little. That's how he plays, right? But like for like the rookies, that's how you assess them. You assess them based off.
No, but you can't. But you can't always do it anyways. It can't be completely accurate because they can still just lie like that. And obviously, like you're saying, the captains are still going to be getting that information like that. But it still doesn't mean it's going to be accurate.
I mean,
I saw a couple of the rookies in the pugs that we had before. I believe Jade, Snowspot,
Wordy was there for sure.
Knave. I think it might have been another one, but I saw like a good chunk of rookies show up at that, so I at least was able to kind of give my input just based on what I saw in the sign-up sheet. Like I said earlier, I'm also really high on Spike. It's like he's the IGL of his collegiate team. You know, he's been playing a while. He has scrim experience. I think he could be like a really good player, especially on tank. So I was given my honest opinion on as many players as I could, but like I said, there's some people that I just don't know a whole lot about. So it's like, I mean, at some point you got to go off of just what you know is in front of you. Like, I know next time they do a power rankings, they'll have stuff to go off of, so they'll like get to see like Bucket play, and they'll get to see like Nesquik's play, so you might get a more accurate power rankings team for the next time they do it. But yeah. It's those
first one's always so wacky.
Yeah. I mean, last season I think they got the Sea Dragons number 1, so that was a pretty good call. But they also had Owls in the top 5, so it's like you can't win them all. For the most part, I think.
But the Owls beat the Sea Dragons.
That's true, actually. Owls.
So they're actually right, to be honest. Yeah, they've never been wrong.
So yeah, like we'll see, but it's gonna be very interesting, I guess.
I don't know. I think it's silly. I think it's silly. I think it's goofy. That's my opinion on it, right? That's my opinion. I don't make the rules. The rules
Do you
make
have
me.
you have any like way too early predictions for captains or teams or any awards? Or do you want to have those in your write that downs?
Before the first game for awards?
Before the first game for awards?
That's why it makes it like spicy. It's like if you call it this early, then you're just going to look like a genius. No? No one has anything?
I mean, like, I might put one in my write that down for the heck of it, but like, I don't know if I want to make like a bold prediction right now.
I'll make one. I'll make one just because everyone else is being quiet about it. I think that the best captain is going to be... I'm going to say it's going to be BBQ. I think he's going to get his team together. He's going to be a big leader on his team. I'm going to call best captain BBQ. That's not going to be
if you're talking about like best captains in the draft, I think he's definitely like top 3, if not top 1.
Yeah.
Like just like in terms of just draft strategy.
How
I think
the draft went,
that. Yeah.
But it also sounds like he wants to lock in. It's like you get Melon. Melon's going to be that big team leader. I know he's going to be able to like rally the troops, get everyone playing. So I think like that in general, that vibe that I think he drafted for is just going to kind of build upon itself and get better. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we just get into the write that downs?
I mean, I'm okay unless you want to cover more teams / players.
I think we went over most of them.
We didn't really call this. I mean, or do you want to trash talk the Swagosaurus squad?
I will always trash talk. If it means I get a chance to trash talk like both Paninii and Riddle, like I'll do.
What
it if
did
you
I
want me
do?
to. I'll do it if you want me to. First off, Nepo team. Paninii gets to be like Orm. I pick up RiddleDog first overall, and nobody else gets to touch him. Nepo team. That's all I gotta say. No, just kidding. Secondly, why Paninii not showing up? Like that's just rude and disrespectful. Like, you know, I show up, I do my captaining, and then I play the game. Neptune shows up, he does his captaining, he plays the game, and Paninii just leaves us, and he doesn't want to play against me. Like, who am I supposed to teabag in game? Like, who am I supposed to, like, Riddle? Like, he'll just get mad at me. Paninii at least is, like, funny, you know?
Nah,
And, like,
Riddle won't get
I don't
mad at
know.
you.
I don't know. I feel like they have solid players.
I think
I'm more so
be bad for them.
Yeah, I'm more so concerned about like how does Rue fit into the team? Like as a question.
DPS, just
A
going to
couple of
DPS
options.
instead of Dom.
Like switch Fire to DPS and then switch play Rue on support is what I'm seeing, or is it Rue on DPS even though they said they didn't want to play DPS?
I mean, there's a couple of options.
Yeah.
I think part of it too is that Rue last season on the Quails was exclusively playing DPS. So I think maybe he just wants to get a couple of support. But I talked to him and he said he's fine to play whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to give him support maps if we can, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. We're definitely gonna scrim a lot on this team, especially with 7 players. Like trying to get everyone as much playtime as we can. So yeah, we'll definitely be cooking on the Sagasaurus squad. We'll see how everything goes though.
Yeah. Here's the reason why I truthfully didn't have you in top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know Ball when it comes to Fire on support. I know he's a commer, but I feel like you guys already have comers as default. I don't know Ball when it comes to Riddle on DPS. I know he's a commer, but you guys already have comers as default. I know Ball when it comes to Fancy. I know Ball when it comes to Wiggle.
Wait, so you're saying
I have more.
Like,
I have more.
You know what we all calm, at least me,
Yep.
Fancy, and Fire.
Yep.
We calm. Dong is sort of supportive a little bit in that.
Mhm.
Wiggle is my silent king. He doesn't say a single word ever.
Yep.
Fire, you saw him play in the LAN, in the Mankato LAN for Pizza Bars when he was playing flex support with Salami Boy, with Vind, with what was it? Oh my gosh, who was on that team at the time? Big Hobbs Cold Beer,
Big Hobbs Code Beer.
right?
Yeah.
And you know how his support is able to play on that flex support. So
Fair.
Yeah, he's on the collegiate team, so I'm assuming I don't know exactly how the UMN team is structured, but I'm assuming he's gonna get some coaching from that team and just get additional scrim practice. So he's gonna be scrimming a lot. I know from what I've seen of his flex support, it's pretty solid. I know he played flex support for a few maps on the Corsairs back in the day. So I think that like, I guess you'll see he'll get plenty of playtime in there. So
Okay.
I'm sure you'll see some Fire support. Like I said, as the season goes on, you get to see more stuff. So if you're not 100% sure about like how Rue fits into the team or how Fire's flex support is going to be, or Riddle's DPS, we'll show you guys in a couple of weeks. Keep your eyes open.
And I agree. You guys will show me, but I mean that was like 50% of the questions I had.
Yeah.
And I still got 50% more if you want me to roll those off, but I feel like that's counterproductive at this point.
So I know we're kind of running out of time. I think multiple of us have scrims at 7. So do you want to just jump straight into write that downs? I know those sometimes take a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we need to do last week's too, or like
I was gonna say, go over the one from last time. Everyone start thinking about your write that downs.
okay, trying to remember at what point. Okay, are you ready?
Yup.
Season 6 of Main Sport will win MVP. Nope. Blind won it.
Oh, wrong one. There we go.
Okay, we don't know that. We don't care about that. Season will have the most map 5s compared to any other season before. I didn't count it, so I'm not doing that right now. So TBD. To be determined.
Yeah.
Kappa makes playoffs. They did not make playoffs. Season 6 grand final will go to map 7. That did happen. Congratulations to Trevor Jordan for that. Fire saying GOON1Es not going to get Hall of Fame. That's true.
That's crazy.
Good call. Good.
Crazy.
Season 7 will have at least one match be played on LAN, which means that there's at least 5 players total there. We don't know. EJ wins best captain. Says War. Nope.
I already forgot who best captain was.
Brad.
Brad, yeah.
Season 7 will have the most signups out of any seasons. No, because we had more last season. Roosters will make it to grand finals and not win. I said that's not true. Average SR will be higher by 100. No, because everyone started losing.
Yeah.
Let's see. And he said, Slutchers beat Quail, Sea Dragons beat. So Slutchers beat Quail, Sea Dragons beat Apes, Roosters beat Apes, Roosters beat Slouchers. That's not true. It's the Roosters. Not beat the Slouchers.
Yeah, I was so close though. Oh,
and then
my
Panini does
WWE
not
scam.
win admin for season 7. That's also incorrect.
Wait, Riddle.
No,
I think
unlucky.
you missed one of mine. I think.
Okay, hold on. I'm finishing
Oh
this.
yeah, he
Oh,
did.
Firecrotter's gonna win Shapeshifter. No.
Close. It was another player.
Another one of Wars. Grand Final. Oh, that one. Grand Finals will be a rematch of Week 1 with the same outcome.
Yup. True. Wow, my God, I'm so happy.
And yeah, that's it.
Nice. Oh my gosh, we got a cat.
Yeah. She's done this really cool thing where she will stand in front of the monitor and her tail started blocking my webcam. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna hold her. So yeah, Neptune, do you have any write that downs for this season?
I need just to be like Boar. I just need like a minute or so.
Minutes. Anyone else?
I can go. I can go whenever. We doing 2 in a row. We doing rotation kind of.
Let's do rotation because we normally.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna start it off by going with there will be exactly 1 team to go undefeated this season.
Ooh. I mean, 8 weeks, I could see it. Last time there were 8-week seasons, we had 2 teams go undefeated. So.
That's true. So I'm saying one less than that.
Are you just saying regular season, or are you saying including playoffs?
Regular season.
Okay.
Just regular season. Yeah. Thank you for specifying.
Riddle, you want to go next because you're kind of next on the screen.
Yeah. There'll be at least 2 more trades this season.
I like that.
So 2+ trades.
Kittens make playoffs.
Kittens 2.
Kittens 2, Meow or Never make playoffs.
Alright, I got mine.
You got yours? Okay.
This season, write this down. Gotta write it down, right?
Oh yeah,
of course.
I'm saying that, unfortunately.
This season will have one of the most amount of map 5s.
I was sending them the calculator heck.
So it's the same. It's the same one as the one I said
say percentage.
before.
Say this has the highest
same
percentage.
Percentage.
There's no way season 2 with 13 weeks has less map 5s than with 8 weeks.
Gotta be you said percentage?
Yeah.
No, so it's just saying not raw numbers because the longer seasons would have more map 5s. Like you'd think anyways.
Oh yeah,
so
percentage. Yeah.
Okay.
War, you got another one?
Yes, I do. I've been giving a lot of hate to the Swaggosaurus squad, and I've been planning on this. Fancy will win MVP.
Again?
Yup.
Wow.
Yup. I don't care at this point in time. He's not an Aurora Esports MVP. So he can win Aurora Esports MVP, you know?
There's nothing against a person coming back and winning it twice.
Yeah.
So if Wind wants, he can get nominated and win it again.
That's true.
He only won last season, so.
It's a riddle next.
There will be 2 winless teams.
Who? You gonna call who they are yet or no?
Call him right now. Call him.
100% no. 100%
Star
no.
Squad
Yeah.
and the Blahas.
Yep.
Oh, Swaggosaurus squad and the Moon Baboons.
So just 2 winless teams, but you're not gonna call them yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, what the heck?
They get the better,
Shapeshifter award to EJ. Write that down.
That's a great one. Yeah. That is a S tier one, I think. Because I think on the Codis, I know we didn't talk about that much. On their second comp, I think it goes to support. I think.
Yeah. I mean, even if he doesn't, I feel like you gotta give props if he comes out playing DPS that we've never really seen him play before.
Mm-hmm.
Playing on his off roll.
carrying the boomers. Like, gotta give him credit for that.
He's the unk carrier.
Yo.
Neptune, you got another one? You still thinking?
You gotta give that to me. It
Okay.
took, it took me one business minute to
One
come
business
up with
minute.
that one.
That's it, at least for us. That we have 2.
Yeah.
The rest of us have 2. So.
Do you think Riddle? Do you think there's gonna be any new awards? Are there gonna be any awards that get introduced next season?
No.
You
I know some people are wanting Marmus Bench back.
Yeah. Because the bargain bin deal came up from the auction, because you actually are bidding money on those players instead of just.
It used to be Mr. and Mrs. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I could just see like the rebranding back to that. You know,
it's crazy. Some of the players that got drafted late this season, like I said, Nesquik's earlier. I'm shocked Pero was still there.
I mean, a lot of it is just like that weird SR where everyone sort of builds around stuff, and then there's just those players that left behind because there's so many around like that meta. Like that's why we saw Nesquik's. Like a lot in my mock drafts, I just still find players like that. I'm like, that's weird. Like I think one of them was just Foos, just because I was trying to reason through a whole bunch of other picks as well, and then I'm like, oh wait, Foos is still here. What do I do with them?
Moon. Yeah, we didn't talk about Moon. The highest SR player in the league.
It's like that. It's like 4-2. It's like that's a really big investment.
Yeah.
So especially like only someone like the super low SR captains, I think, would be able to really afford it. Like if Neptune got him, then that'd be hard times.
Yeah.
You know, he'd have to get like a full plat team or something.
I was feeling the exact same way in my mocks. Like between like the Moon to like Fire and SR, like that GM to like mid-ish Masters, I would always have 2 supports fall to lower rounds. And I'm like, how do I assign these people? And the truth is, you don't. You don't.
That's why you see people. That's why you see people like Moon go last, is because it's just such a hard SR to go around, as well as like Nesquik's, where you want to build the rest of your team, and then you're like, okay, now I can think about another like 6th player, where BBQ got them, and it's like perfect because they have another player that's around that SR as well. So,
and like Moon genuinely did not fit in my team. Like the differentiation between Biggie, Stretch, and Moon is Moon did not fit in my team. Yeah. It's hard in the last round to say, hey, here's a 4.2k support who's like really good, but also is gonna like replace one of your early picks who was also really good. You know.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking when I was looking at your team, I was like, Moon just comes in for Silver Talls, but he would be 10 SR over cap.
Nope.
Barely too high. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, I think he does actually fit pretty well into Pokemon guys. It's like you can play him on DPS or you can play him on support. So I think like out of all the teams, like having that high SR player, I think Pokemon guys at least has that flexibility to work with that I think does actually fit pretty good with Moon.
All right, you got the write that down.
Yeah.
Last one. Yeah. My last one. Write this down. The Blas are gonna win grand finals.
Oh my gosh, no way.
I got you, Pookie. This year you're gonna.
Let's go.
That's
6v6, and then the regular season.
That'd be crazy. I wouldn't complain.
Actually, snoozer.
Yeah. Agree.
Oh, that's crazy. You see, I'm allowed to doubt the Strikesaurus squad, but when the Blaha
you hated burst.
Okay, fair, yeah, fair.
I like just calling a finals. I think that's a solid one. I think if they depending on how it goes early in the season, I think we'll kind of like have a good idea how they're gonna finish. So,
Riddle, I will settle for a Blahas versus Strikesaurus finals.
I would settle for that too.
Sorry, Neptune.
If Strikesaurus makes finals, I'm happy with that.
Okay, cool. Good deal.
So I can keep one of you.
I see Poi in chat asking for the scrim, so I think we are gonna have to skedaddle
it is 6:58.
Yeah,
no way.
2 minutes is plenty of time. Thank you guys all for watching. Good luck to everyone in season 7. My name's Paninii, signing off for myself, RiddleDog, War, and Neptune. Thank you guys all. We'll see you again.